All right, it is 7:05. Thank you. Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us on our quick info session on the Silver Economy Accelerator that we plan to do. If you are here because you've seen us talk about it online, if you've been following the project since we started the project, thank you for being here. This is super exciting. Out of a three component project, this is the start of our second component, which we're super excited of. I am Travis Miller, a founding partner of Arling Ventures. I'm also here with Shanna Edgecombe, our program manager for the SilverCaribe project, and Loki Heike, a partner as well too. But she wouldn't. She would be the last one to always say it, but I always have to remind her as well too. Shanna, how you doing?
I'm good. Good night, everyone.
Good. So, like I said, thank you. My name is Travis Miller. Um, behalf of Arling Ventures and our project, this is under the Silver Career Project. Want to welcome you all to this quick accelerator information session. We decided to put together like a quick session for people who may or may not be familiar with what an accelerator is, or if you are familiar with what an accelerator is and you wanted to know specifically what we were doing with this niche accelerator, welcome. We plan to just give you a little bit of an overview and then open up, questions that you might have on particular components of the accelerator. But ultimately, if we want anything, is for you to walk away with a little bit more information or a little bit more insight on what this big silver economy thing is. So SilverCaribe is an initiative built here in the Bahamas, but it is intended to be regional in order to support an ever increasing aging population. So again, tonight we want to walk you through the accelerator, go over the different components of it, and then just hear from you guys. Um, so before we get into it, the one thing that we wanted to before I get into that, we wanted to tell you guys a little bit about what the silver economy is, right? So across the Caribbean, um, is no surprise that you may see, or if you didn't know, we are seeing the older population of individuals living longer. Is a good thing because is a good thing that people are living longer, but it also means that it puts a lot of a strain on the our financial systems, our social systems, and even the public sector, and we have to learn ways to adapt in order to accommodate for this change. So there's challenges that relate to caregiving, to digital literacy, especially in an ever increasing landscape of technology that we have here as well too. And everything from transportation to housing and financial security all are wrapped within the challenges that come within the silver economy. But along with these challenges is a lot of opportunity and a lot of tremendous value that could be created for individuals that decide that they want to tap in and to build solutions around that, right? So whether you are a silverpreneur, in a lack of better words, an individual who has wealth, who's retired, probably looking for their second act, and wanting to learn what it means to kind of dip your toe into entrepreneurship, or at least leverage some of the assets and values that you already have. Or you might be a younger entrepreneur that is very passionate about this idea. You probably see the pain points around you and want to solve a challenge, or you may very much well be working on a similar challenge as well too. We invite you to work within this framework that we have, which is an accelerator, in order to refine those ideas and to build and develop those ideas and hopefully turn those ideas into working businesses, into working products for the long haul that will ultimately serve this space that is growing, that has a lot of potential, um, and has a lot of value. So, Silver Economy, or the project Silver Crib for us, is really designing with the future in mind. In terms of like, this is going to happen, this is a reality that's going to happen. Other people around the world are working on this challenge as well too. What could we as a country and as a region help to contribute to this challenge? And I know if you have aging parents, or if you've been around aging parents and family members, you see some of the challenges that come into place, but you also see the opportunities that come in as well too. So one of the things that we hope people will get as being a part of this program is to hone in on those experiences and help build something that everybody could benefit from. With that being said, I'll go and play a video that give you a little bit more of an overview on the silver economy with some points, and then Shauna will hop in with some more refined details and data that we had from since we started the project and built in the space. Shauna, the floor is yours.
Alrighty, good night, everyone. Apologies in advance if my internet lags. For some reason, it does that late at night. Okay, so um, let's talk some more details about what the silver economy is exactly. So, by definition, and this is published in the one of the IDB's reports, the silver economy is the subject of the or the subset of the global economy associated with the demographic shift brought about by population aging. It focuses on the needs and the demands of older people. Now, what you're going to see following is a few slides from Masato Okamura. He is one of the foremost persons when it comes to studying the silver economy and much of their research and their publications. So here's what everyone already sees, right? At the top of the iceberg. We see that the population over the age of 50 is growing by 3% annually in the world. That means almost 2 billion people. The life expectancy, once upon a time in 1999, was 66 years old. In 2022, it was 73 years old. In 2050, which is just 25 years from now, it is expected to be 77 years old. So, what we see is that people are living longer. And because we belong to the Latin America and Caribbean group, we are particularly interested in what is happening in LAC. LAC is the fastest aging region in the world. Right now, our population stands at almost 13% for persons over the age of 60. By 2050, this number is expected to more than double to be almost 30%. We can see that the trend is worldwide and it is widespread. By the year 2050, you can see that compared to other countries in the world, the Bahamas is towards the top when it comes to being a fast aging country. So, here are some stats that you should know and you should keep aware. 1 in 4 people in Latin America and the Caribbean are expected to be over the age of 60 by 2050. Here in the Bahamas, between 1980 and 2023, there was a almost 10% increase of persons over the age of 65 and over. Now, the average retirement age is between 60 and 65, right? Whether you're working in government, quasi-government, private sector. But yet, the life expectancy of the average Bahamian is 74 to 75 years old. So, what does longer life expectancy mean? It can create financial stress for seniors and the people who love them. Additional challenges that longer life expectancy adds is strain on the healthcare system, social security, and pension schemes. We've all been hearing the conversation more recently in the last few years about NIB and the fact that there's not enough persons to support the growing number of seniors who are receiving benefits and payouts. That is a huge issue that we will face. And there's been ongoing conversation about whether or not those who are in our age bracket, which is the millennials, Travis and myself, if there will actually still be NIB available when it's our turn, right? And so there's also a more need for more specialized healthcare services and facilities catering to the elderly. So, what are the consequences of accelerated aging? Lifespan issues, money span issues, work span issues, because we do have to remember that not everyone can actually afford to retire. Not everyone can actually afford to retire when they hit 60 or 65. And so sometimes people need to work longer or they need to rely on their family and loved ones to support them. And then there's also the health span and the quality of lifespan. So, the great challenge of longevity is to increase healthy life expectancy to make societies more productive for longer. Travis?
Yeah, so and again, this is global information that we got on the space, but what we wanted to do as well too is to get a temperature of what people thought here locally about the silver economy, if they even knew what it was. A lot of people that we came across never heard of the phrase silver economy before, but when we started to talk about the things that go on with the silver economy, when it came to caregiving or retirement, it started to click for a lot of different people, especially when they tapped into their own personal experience with working with their parents or their loved ones as well too. And we just got use this as a general landscape survey that is still active right now if you want to continue to add to the data that we're collecting. But we got some insight in terms of where people's focus and mind wanted to be when they thought about the silver economy, when we gave them an opportunity to think about it, right? So a few people answer like what they believe the biggest challenges faced for older adults are in the Bahamas. The majority of people focus on healthcare and wellness being a big issue as well too, right? And you see that with the quality of life slowly like dwindling away if you don't stay active, or even things that relate to our diet on a day-to-day basis that isn't necessarily the healthiest diet. So people kept this in top of mind in terms of what the important thing, and this was immediately followed by financial stability and income, especially when we talk about again NIB again and retirement, or a lot of the people that we come across, they you have people who still very much want to work. That is great. Like people still want the ability to keep their mind active and sharp. But you also have some individuals who are that age that they can't really afford not to work, and that's unfortunate. Even with the support that comes from NIB support and pensions as well too, right? And then the third, right after that, is just access to employment opportunities. So, especially given in our landscape and the feedback that we gotten through a lot of the forums that we've done, there's always a tension between the younger generation and the old generation, where the younger generation feels like the old people won't get out of the way, but the older generation also feels like they don't have the younger generation doesn't have the work ethic, right? And these two things bring a contention. So how do we find space that both of these individuals could coexist and work together for the better of our society in general as well too? Another question that we asked, in terms of what people would be interested the most in terms of silver economy initiatives. One of the things that was resounding from the feedback that we got is funding opportunities for silverpreneurs and startups as well too. And then training and workshops for older entrepreneurs. So between these two primary needs or people were interested the most, helped us to formulate what we have today, which is the Silver Career Project, and having the three components within that project. Component two of which is the Accelerator, which we'll talk a little bit more about today. Um, Again, when you talk about opportunities, just low hanging fruit, and this is from an IDB report as well too. This is just highlighting a few of the things that at least we saw were low hanging fruit within our community as well too. Whether that might be home delivery services for individuals that probably can't get out as smoothly as they would like to in order to take care of things that they need for the house or they need to get for the house. Public transportation is still a very huge thing as well too, right? So we have older people using our public transportation that isn't really efficient, And again, that puts a lot of strain on them as well to getting from where they need to go. Or they don't have transportation themselves. That's why they have to use the public transportation. But then also, if you look around the world to our other counterparts around the globe, they have more efficient transportation that supports these elderly individuals, whether that might be on time transportation and even transportation that gets into consideration things that older people might also need help and support with, like a wheelchair or like support or like, right infrastructure for them to be transported safely. We definitely need to do a better job promoting business ventures among older people as well too. Again, these people want to work, they still have ideas, and a lot of them are probably sharper than most of us if you give them the opportunity and chance as well too, right? But because of the market thinking that, because they hit a certain age, the bank won't allow them to get funding for their venture because, the risk is high in that regard. Those are things that need to change, or we need to find better opportunities versus just shutting out and not thinking about these individuals as well too, right? And then with the sharing economy before older people as well too, what does that look like? Because a big component of looking at this demographic of individuals, isolation and loneliness is a big thing for these individuals. So making different platforms, spaces, ecosystems where they could get together and share and commune with each other so that you could reduce that loneliness and isolation that most older people face as well too. And that just goes into education, which is again just the digital literacy, which we'll talk about as well too for older adults. We live in an age right now where we walk around with a device, regardless of what your age is. But then also, how do we get the most out of these devices in order for them to have a better quality of life as well too? Whether that might be how to use these things, better. How do we tap into AI in order to give them more insight and to make life easier for them, given the tools that are already proliferating? And how can we educate them on those things better? How do we protect older adults from not getting scammed online? From spam and phishing that is proliferant as we get more and more into the space. And then super niche things as well too, like tourism. What does tourism look like just for older individuals? What does sports and group exercise look like for older individuals? Whether that might be squash or maybe even Tai Chi somewhere in the future as well too, like other places do. What do these things look like for those older people? And those are the things that we want to potentially explore as we go through the accelerator.
All right, so just to give you a bit of background on the Silver Carib project itself, this is a 3-year IDB Lab funded project. So what that means is IDB Lab has a certain contribution and we have a certain contribution. And so as Travis has alluded to, there are 3 components to the project. The first one is the educational programming, right? But first, before that, let's talk about the sponsors. We have some gracious sponsors. We have the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce and Employees Confederation. We have UB North, Full Court Films for our advertising, marketing, videography, Crypto Isle for our venue, and then Vita is our apparel sponsor for our accelerator. So we do appreciate them coming on board. And of course, we're always open to future partners as well. So the project itself has 3 components. The first one, of course, is education, right? As Travis said, most people had no clue what it is to be in the silver economy, to hear about the silver economy or the opportunities that are available in the silver economy, right? So we have undertaken over the 3 years a series of what we are calling silver forums, along with some other events to raise awareness, right? For the duration of the project. The second component, of course, is what we're here to talk about tonight, right? Which is the Accelerator program. And then we have the third component, which is the mentorship program. And that's going to have a specific expat focus because there are so many of them living in the Bahamas with a wealth of knowledge, not just wealth, but with a wealth of knowledge, who can also join forces with local entrepreneurs and provide valuable mentorship. So the opportunity is this. We have 2 groups of persons. We have the older persons, the 50 and over, who are looking to retire, or start a business, turn a passion project into a business. They want to use whatever knowledge it is that they have to continue to sustain themselves and continue to be a part and active of society, right? Active members of society. And then we have the other side of it, which is the entrepreneurs who are of all ages, right? Could be teenagers, could be millennials, could be zennials, whatever you call them. And those are persons who have products and services who are actually targeting those who belong to the silver economy. And so this accelerator program is really targeting both demographics. So the beneficiaries for this project are the entrepreneurs targeting the senior citizens in the Bahamas, the seniors who may be retired or preparing for retirement. And then, of course, we have the public and private sector individuals. Those include the policymakers, the regulators, the investors, and the service providers. One of the things that we are always mindful of is that we have to engage not just the private sector, but the government. We cannot act as though public policy is not important. We cannot act as though we don't need to have this at a national level, this conversation. It needs to be had, right? Because we are all getting older. That's just the reality of the situation. And we have to prepare ourselves. We cannot wait until 2050 is here to have these conversations. We have to be way more proactive. So, as we looked around and we considered what are some of the sectors that we could really focus on in the Bahamas, we focused on care, productivity, and finance. Although these are also some other business sectors, for example, that are available and they should be served, right? And they include health and fitness, digital literacy, wealth creation, wealth management, financial literacy, and living and support. So these are just examples of educational programs that we've already done. We had two silver forums so far. We had aging and longevity in October, and then we had a forum on the future of aging back in July. So again, let's zoom back into the Bahamas. We already spoke about 1 in 4 persons in Latin America being in the silver economy by 2050. By 2060, nearly 1 in 5 Bahamians will be over the age of 65. We are a part of the fastest aging population in the world. So here are the implications as well. The cost of living keeps rising. Fixed incomes, higher healthcare costs, higher living expenses equals a financial strain for older adults and their caregivers. Retirement impacts the economy. Imagine decades of experience and skills vanishing from the economy unless new opportunities are created for the seniors to continue to be involved. Opportunities is untapped. Product services and entrepreneurship for older adults can contribute millions of dollars in growth to the local economy. Yet the question is, will we adapt or will we fall behind? The facts are clear. Our future is silver. How do we prepare? We prepare as individuals, as families, as businesses, and as a nation. That will decide whether or not aging becomes a burden or our greatest opportunity. So here's some more information about the Silverpreneur Accelerator itself. This is an 8-week accelerator. We cover value proposition, customer segmentation, market validation, revenue models, and growth strategies, right? We also, and that's just high level, we also talk about storytelling and pitching as well. Mentorship, feedback, and access to potential partners and investors through a curated network will also be available. The accelerator program itself supports both seniors looking to start new ventures and individuals of all ages developing initiatives. And participants receive tailored training, weekly coaching, mentorship, and access. So the question is, who should apply to the accelerator? Seniors over the age of 50. Apologies if you're someone over the age of 50 and you don't think you're a senior, but for for the work of this project. And in the Bahamian context, we do 50 and over. So seniors over the age of 50 with business ideas or early stage ventures, meaning that you've already started. Entrepreneurs of all ages focusing on age related services, technology, wellness or caregiving, and innovators with a commitment to inclusion, health equity, or community impact for older adults. This particular project, as well, we are also very focused on inclusion and ensuring that we make a space for those in underserved communities as well. So, what types of support will participants receive? One, of course, you get tailored training and weekly coaching. Mentorship and access to intergenerational network of experts. And then the top entrepreneurs from each cohort have a chance to pitch for seed funding. There are 5 cohorts that will be held over the course of the 3 years. The first one kicks off in January. Each cohort will have 20 to 30 participants. This is a competitive process. You do have to fill out an application. So, structure and expectations. Over the course of 8 weeks, we will meet virtually once per week. You will hear from expert guest speakers and presenters. There will be group office hours. There will be an individual office hour per participant. There will be weekly assignments, and we do give feedback. Some of it is well received. Other parts of it, we do good cop, bad cop. However, it is, we give feedback, and then there's feedback, sorry, and then there's also demo day. Demo day is where you have the opportunity, if you're one of the top participants in your cohort, to pitch in front of a panel of investors. So here's the benefit of the Silverpreneur program for the Bahamas. It addresses the challenges and opportunities of aging. It prevents loss of valuable skills and experience that seniors take with them when they retire or leave the workforce. Capitalize on the immense untapped resources of older Bahamian workers. Ensures that the wisdom of seniors continue to enrich the nation. It helps with investing in human capital, and it helps with economic growth, and it empowers senior entrepreneurs to create innovative and inclusive solutions. So Travis will go on to talk about what exactly makes the Silverpreneur Accelerator unique.
Right. So the secret sauce, guys. So I mean, not to, and again, these are shameless plugs. So usually at this part, we don't like to really do like self promotion and stuff like that, or we do a bad job at it. But we've been doing this or working with entrepreneurs in the space for going on 10 years now, like just short of a few 10 years. And again, as anybody would know, if any of you tried your hand at being an entrepreneur in this country, you know it could be very difficult and it could feel kind of lonely as a process. What we've done, because we share that same pain as well too, we've worked with different entrepreneurs over the years to try to codify the experience, focus on what the key things are, the important things that come with entrepreneurship that each entrepreneur should be equipped with, but we also put it within a Bahamian context as well too. When we first started it, our first, our main framework of where we put all this is called the Bridge program that we did a few years ago when we first piloted this with the SBDC, which was one of our first clients for this particular project. But then we've also tailored this over the years for different accelerators and different forms that we've done, whether that might have been the Canoe Innovation Hub. We could break apart components of this for different tailored workshops, whether that might be a weekend, a shorter time period, working with other entities like UB or BDB. So we have a lot of experience when it comes to codifying again this experience, but then also working with the entities that you will ultimately, hopefully, go to in order to get access to more funding and opportunities as well too. So again, why we call it bridge is that we intended and designed it to be a bridge to be in a foot in the door to work with these entities, but then also equip you guys as entrepreneurs that regardless if you go to the entities that we have here or if your idea is big enough to go global or regional, you would be equipped to do so. So we've tailored a curriculum and a program in order to do this. And then we'll be doing the same thing for the Silver Economy Project as well too. And again, just examples of some of the different components that you get with the curriculum and structure. And most of it will be virtual, and again, it's supposed to be interactive online experiences that are convenient for individuals, but we want everybody to be a participant because we learn as a group as well too. You will get copies of the course materials that we have, whether it might be the structure workshops or the tools that we use, like the business model canvas that we have. A very flexible schedule for entrepreneurs. Again, we have virtual and hybrid group sessions depending on the situation, but then we also do one-on-one advisory and office hours with those individuals as well too. So outside of the class context, and we encourage this as well too, to come and ask us questions to really refine your ideas as well too. The more you put into this project, and we tell everybody this at the same time, the more you get out of the project. And if you need us to find somebody in order to justify and tell you the experience that come from this project, we could do that very easy as well too. And some of them might even be on this call as well. I don't know if anybody would like to tap in towards the end of the thing, but we salute you, and we might need that testimonial anyway. But again, it all really comes down to advisory, shepherding and steering you guys with your ideas, and just offering advisory as you go along the process, and then support as a group as well too along the way. Um, Again, myself, Shauna, and then Matthew isn't on the call right now with our broader team of board of directors and council. We have 20 plus years of experience in different fields, and we all work together in order to put these pieces together to make a whole experience for our local and regional entrepreneurs. We have a set of programming that we already have active, like meetups and pitch nights that we do on a monthly basis. Just a shameless plug again, if you want to come to a pitch night, we have pitch night next Thursday at Crypto Isle, which will be the venue for most of our activities in the space as well too. That'll be November 27th at 6 to 8. So if you want to come out and see what the vibe is for a pitch night, if you have an idea that you kind of want to softball pitch as well too, feel free to bring those ideas. Pitch nights are designed to be open forums where you could get that idea out of your head and get feedback, so you could kind of get it out in the world as well too. And then we consistently do networking events, and then we are dedicated to continue to develop programming and content as well too, whether that might be a series of workshops, or a podcast that we might do as well too, depending on what the niche is. We've done several projects over the years. Starter Island was one of our big early projects where we took entrepreneurs on a boat. Crazy idea at the time, but we made it, and we ended up surviving and coming back on land safe. Which a lot of these entrepreneurs that have been a part of the program are off doing great things today, in different capacities. We've offered mentorship and training through this as well too. We've done Startup Weekend as well at the NAGB a few years ago. Again, a lot of these entrepreneurs are doing great things today. Bridge program that we talked about that you see here, which is the tailored curriculum. And then the Canoe Innovation Hub a few years ago as well too, which was our first step into working with regional and international partners like Draper University, and then working with our brothers and sisters within other Caribbean islands as well too. So we have global impact, and we have global perspective that allows for that impact as well too, in order for you to get as much information and as much leverage on what you learn as best as possible. And then our network is continuing to grow, whether it might be Caribbean Dragons, our continued relationship with the SPDC and the BDB, Academy of Women Entrepreneurs, as well as the Chamber of Commerce. These are partners that we continue to cultivate as we continue on our mission to help entrepreneurship grow and flourish in the space. Um, then I also want to talk about some regional examples to bring back the context of like things that could come from the SilverCaribe Accelerator as well too. And most of these are definitely in Latin America, but I just wanted to highlight a few of the things that are out there. This is by no means the end all be all of all the possibilities, but these are some very cool ideas. Um, Dame Una Mano is a home nursing service based out of, I believe, is Uruguay, um, if I'm not mistaken. Where they just is a technology company that offers specialized care and support as well too for monitoring for individuals. So again, in the context, if you ever work with an aging individual, and you know it takes a lot of time and keeping your eye on the ball in the sense of what their needs and what they need catered and to always be served at a time. This company fills the gap in terms of focusing on the specialized care that they provide for those individuals, but they also are a tech company as well too, where they have a monitoring system where they have a smartwatch and a GPS that they could monitor the metrics of their loved ones even if they're not there in person. So we love to see ideas like this as well too. And again, you don't even necessarily have to reinvent the wheel if you could partner with somebody like this for our local demographic and our market as well too. Um, the same idea from Glaya, which is another technology company, but they do a wide suite of technologies that talk to each other over a period of time. So you might have a blood pressure monitoring system, but that's also connected to an app. And then that information goes to a dashboard that medical providers can also get access to get real time information on individuals while they're in a space. So this particular startup focused on connecting the bridge between health and monitoring of the individual, but then also connecting that information to hospitals and caregivers so that they could get real time information versus the gap of having to record that information yourself and then going to the hospital. Kuvu, which is a very unique idea out of Spain that combined younger individuals who are looking for or interested into home ownership and pairing them with older citizens that don't necessarily have anybody that they could pass off their wealth and their resources to, and they put them together in order for them to they provide the older generation provides housing for the younger individuals, and then the younger individuals provide companionship and support while they're living together, with the notion of that when those individuals pass on or they pass away, um, they have a better relationship in order to get home ownership when they pass away. And the genius of this company is that they work directly with the bank in order to do proper financing and proper legal transition of ownership over a period of time. I would love to see that in the Bahamas at some point, especially because we still have to figure out what we're going to do with housing in a few years. But this was a solution that somebody was willing to do a moonshot on and put out there, and is actually getting a lot of traction in the space as well too. And Lina Rosa, which is essentially Uber slash Lyft, depending on what your preference is, but primarily for women in El Salvador and older women as well too. So it's a women run company, and they only cater to women, or primarily cater to women individuals of all shapes and sizes, and offers this service to them. And again, you might think, oh, that might be super niche, but sometimes there could be power and economic power, if you will, into tapping into a niche and positioning into a niche in order to be a thriving company. The takeaway for this from a silver economy perspective is that their older generation population is huge. So when they tapped in with the total addressable market of what that is, and then the need for older individuals to be mobile, they were able to make a company that was able to thrive and survive within the space as well too. Um, so yeah, so those are just a few examples, but again, they are not extensive. You might have a particular thing that we don't see, or if you hopefully join the accelerator as well too, we could discover what those opportunities and ideas are. So a job for us as mentors and trainers within the accelerator is to see how we could curate as much information as possible whenever you find a particular niche or direction that you want to go, and then hone and refine whatever business model you develop around that into an idea that could be presented at the end of the accelerator and hopefully launch into something else. So we it's a collaborative experience, and we hope you guys would be interested in joining the accelerator, even if you have just a small idea. You never know where it could go. Um, and again, the accelerator application is open. If you go to silvercaribe.com/accelerator, you get a little bit more detail on the page, but then the application form or link to the application form is at the bottom, and it's about 3 steps just to get basic information for an application. So we definitely encourage everybody to do that. I think I clicked on, oh yeah, you had a link. Nice, Shana. Very nice for the link. But yeah, once you go to the accelerator and you go to the page, you just find a little bit more details, and then you go to apply, and then as a 3 step form just asking you basic information about what your idea is, and then we'll ask you about the viability, at least what you think right now the idea. Again, it's not meant for you to be super perfect in this application. We just want your willingness. We want you to participate first and foremost, because this is something that we will hold you accountable to throughout the process. That's a part of the accelerator, is that accountability. We want you to think big, small, however you want to think, but we just want you to present an idea, and we want you to be encouraged to really take it to the next level as well too. So this 3-step form will just ask you basic information, and then we'll follow up with another like interview to really see where you fit with that idea and to refine what you've initially presented to us as well. Um, Applications are open from today. Applications will close December 16th, so a little less than a month from today from the initial application. From there, we'll spend the next month or the Christmas break reviewing the applications, and then we'll make a final decision at the beginning of January, and then we'll open up the course, I mean the accelerator, for mid-January roughly. With that being said, thank you guys for hearing us. And we open up the floor to you guys if you have any specific questions that we could possibly answer, and then we could go from there. So anybody could start with anything. We'll try our best to answer. No questions? Did we answer all your questions? Which I highly
Well,
doubt.
uh,
Did I
I
receive?
highly doubt it.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I want to say is, as of right now, for cohort one, we cannot guarantee for the remaining cohorts, but for cohort one, this is a free of charge entry. You do not have to pay to enter. You do not have to pay to be a part of the program. Like we said, we cannot
For this first one.
guarantee what
Yeah.
happens
After that.
for cohorts 2 through 5.
So take advantage. Please take advantage.
Yeah.
Hey, can you hear me? Marie?
Hey
Yes,
Marie.
we
Yeah, we can
can.
hear you.
Hey guys. Night night.
Night night. What's
Good
up?
Um,
night.
First, quick testimonial. These guys are great. I've been in a accelerator program with them before. They're loving, caring, and kind. So I'll keep it short. And then I guess I had a question since we're working with actual data from the IDB.
Mhm.
I haven't read that publication just yet in full, but did they specify which of the target areas is feasible in the Bahamas? Because, transportation is one feat,
For sure.
finance is another. There's also other studies they have, like social credits. Maybe they want to experiment with other forms of what does it mean to have innovative finance for seniors or something. I have some
Mhm.
ideas I'm working with. And funnily enough, before you answer, I just so happen to be researching on this topic since about April. All right, so
Awesome.
go ahead.
So yeah, so it's a good question. So they definitely have published a few different studies on different things that may be viable, but it's almost like a chicken and the egg thing, especially for this accelerator, as a discovery to see what will be viable as well too. So obviously there might be with general with the general basis of a market research that we'll promote during this accelerator in terms of finding out information and see if you could get validation for a few ideas. We hope to support some of that with some of the research that come from IDB, but we also see this as a learning experience too to see what will be viable options that come from this, right? So I think a part of the initial like first weeks of the accelerator, we'll kind of poke holes with the ideas out there and then ask questions and see from that what wealth of knowledge that we could refine from there, or what point in the right direction that we'll go next. And I think a big goal of what we plan to get out of these cohorts of accelerators is to refine that information and to get that what is
Yeah.
viable out there as well too.
Yeah. To add, in that particular publication, no, there's not explicit mention
That's a
of the
general,
Bahamas.
yeah.
Now, one of the challenges is that for silver economy, they have a lot more information for Latin America. We are one of the first, or the first project that is for the Caribbean itself. So it's very important and imperative that we get data as much as possible. And we know that's something that is a little bit more difficult to come by or even collect in the Caribbean because of our general ideas and thoughts around sharing information and what happens with it and all of that. So, no, there's not necessarily particular things that they would have highlighted for the Bahamas. But Marie, we can send you, there's the link, a YouTube link to that presentation that Masato did. And IDB in particular focuses on 3 or 4 of the areas. And so he explains it in more detail.
Okay, thanks. And a shorter version is that, like I said, I actually built an autonomous AI researcher, and they're doing the research on it because that's very hard for humans to do. So we're actually
Yeah,
having research now specific to the silver economy and specific to the Bahamas.
nice.
So that just so happened to work out. So I will follow up with you guys on that though.
Yeah,
Yes,
awesome.
please, awesome.
And then also put
Mhm.
a note of that as well too. We can also promote that as well too. If you have that research, if you've already done the work, we don't need to reinvent the wheel,
Mm-hmm.
but also we can help you build on that as well too. And then we point you and add you to our list of sources and publications for the IDB lab, and then let them run with that as well too. So it could be cyclical in that regard.
Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. Michelle, I see you have your hand raised. You can go ahead with your question.
Yes, I have 2 questions. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Um, this is my first in hearing all of this, but you mentioned that you meet at a particular location to present ideas and all of that. Where's that location?
Yeah, so we have pitch nights usually once a month. We have the last one for the year this month, November 27th at Crypto Isle. If you are not familiar with what Crypto Isle is exactly, it used to be Luciano's, the restaurant, off of East Bay Street on the side of Green Parrot. Are you familiar where that is?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have it there. So it's a co-working space, Crypto Isle, but they also share space with Oasis, which is a restaurant as well too now. So we usually have our meetups. I mean, our meetups and our pitch nights there as well too. So 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. next week Thursday, not this Thursday, next week Thursday. So if you want to come, feel free. You can meet us in person, and if you have something that you want to get off your chest or idea, feel free to pitch it there as well too. But we usually have another group of entrepreneurs there that will probably share ideas, and then bare minimum you could at least network and have conversation with as well too.
Okay, so if I have no idea,
Mhm.
um, hmm, can y'all assist with me in, I guess, in developing something that's to my taste or liking that I would probably be
Mm.
venturing?
So one of the first things that we would like you to come with for the program is some form of an idea. It doesn't have to be fleshed out, right? So let's say, for example, if you are someone who has a background in culinary, for example, this is just me off the top of my head, and you're saying that, I have a culinary background, I don't know if I want to use it, but maybe I might be interested in providing like specialized foods for people on a particular diet, right? Whether it be no salt, no whatever, people have to do a lifestyle change, particularly as they get older, then we can help you build out that business. But we would definitely say come with something that we can start with.
Mhm.
And I don't want to I don't want to sound like I'm promoting AI, but it is a good tool. It's there, right? And so if you want, you can ask ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever it is, to help you think about things that interest you mixed with your skills, and then give you business ideas or topics around that. Or you could even just talk to people who know you, right? And you can ask them like, what do you think I'm good at? What do you think I'd be great at doing if I were to start a business as well?
Okay.
Awesome. And I just want to add on that. Just to add a layer onto that as well too. Again, like use the tools out there. I would even say, um, almost like a little semi hack when you think through these ideas as well too. Is again ask ChatGPT to flesh out a business model or a potential business model around an idea, and you'll be surprised what it would stub up from there. And then when by the time you do apply, we could take that idea and run with it in terms of building it out in terms of a business model canvas, really spending time focusing on the 9 pillars of an idea for you to continue to refine that idea. And then also the same thing on the same vein of Shana using the food example, you might be in a business that you don't think necessarily caters to this audience, or it does, you have been catering to this audience and you don't even know it. So we encourage you to look at maybe a existing business that you're already doing and look at it in a vertical sense of, do I serve this demographic and how could I serve this demographic better? So just some things to think about.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Great question.
Sorry, and the application form, where again can we find it?
SilverCaribe.com. I don't know if you have the link directly, John. I could drop it in the chat. Let me put it silver.com/.
So, to that point, if you don't have a business already, you will find that you cannot answer some of the questions on the form. That's fine. Just complete as much as you can just to start off.
Yeah. And then I dropped the link to where you could find the accelerator and the application form within the chat as well, too, guys.
Mhm. Any other
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah, probably have time for one, maybe two more questions.
Good evening. You basically answered all the
Good
questions.
evening.
Only thing was, I actually was driving and still working, and I thought I would
Mhm.
have been able to be cut off by 6:30 today, but that didn't happen. And so
Mhm.
I did quite a bit of the information. Um, but you're saying there's pitch night that's next week, Thursday.
Correct.
Yes. Travis, can
Oh,
you show the pitch night flyer on the screen, please?
I don't know
If
where
you
it
have
is
it.
readily
Okay.
screen
available. Let
Let
me.
me
that you have here
send it through
already.
WhatsApp.
Yeah. I really would like to attend, but
Mm.
that's a crazy day because that's like Thanksgiving Day. And so
Ah, got you.
It is Thanksgiving Day, but do Bahamians really celebrate Thanksgiving like that, though? I mean,
my
eat
With
the
the
family,
food.
food, yes.
Eat the food, yes. But you'll be done by lunchtime. But anyway, let
no,
me.
no, we do dinner. That's
Okay,
a
gotcha.
normal.
You know, I just
Ah.
playing with you. I just playing with you. I just playing with you. Let me see if I could.
So
Right.
to your point though, we will have, so pitch night happens monthly. If you can't make this one, then we will take a break for December, obviously, because that's the holiday season, and then we will restart in January. So it's typically the fourth Thursday of the month. So right now that date would be January 22nd. We'll have
Okay.
another one.
Tentatively, yeah, tentatively. Yeah.
Tentatively. We just need to confirm with the venue.
What I wanted you to just give me a synopsis on is, um, although I was busy and had to not pay attention to you guys when you talk about, I saw something where there was a window location. Can you go over
Mhm.
that for me? That is
Oh, a window location? Say it again.
a window of application where
Oh,
the
yes.
huh,
Hmm. Yes.
first,
Okay. Sure. So the application opens today and
okay,
then it
and that's
closes.
for your
Mhm.
idea.
Yes, that's to fill out the form. And then
Huh?
we take a look at it. We do have to vet everyone. And then applications close December 16th. And we will look at everyone, vet the persons who get into the program, and then we will notify from there.
Okay. Do you have to have a business plan attached to it or an
No,
idea
ma'am.
business?
No, no, no,
Something
no. You don't have
Mhm.
to attach the bit. I mean, if you have a pitch deck, you can. So we have a form where you can upload a pitch deck if you have it, but it isn't
Mhm.
mandatory at this particular stage.
okay. All
Yeah,
right.
but you will have going through the accelerator, a part of the deliverables outside of you having your business model. You will build for
You
yourself
will have a
content
pitch deck for
because
sure.
that's
Hmm.
a part of the demo day as well too.
Okay. All right.
Travis, I sent the flyer
Okay,
in
awesome. Thank you very
WhatsApp.
much because I could
Yeah.
Mm,
not for the life of me find it
No
on my,
problem.
you know.
No problem.
And then
I'm
also,
So
sorry.
guys,
we, oh, go ahead.
also this is recorded as well too. So when we
Mhm.
post it, after we do like quick edits and post it on our social media, I mean on
Mhm.
our YouTube page, we'll share it to social media. So feel free to review it again. And then if you know somebody who could benefit from this, and we're asking, please share this around. Again, we want as much
Mhm.
applications as possible, especially for this first cohort. While it's free, we know there are talented individuals out there. So if you know somebody,
Mhm.
where they might be young or old, who would be interested in the program, please share it out to them when we share out the link as well too. Because we also
Mhm.
have you, we have, we should have your email information from you signing up for the event. So send a follow up email as well too.
Okay,
Mhm.
awesome. Awesome. But I must say, based on what I gathered, um, it's amazing how when you get around this age, you're not interested in things, certain things when it addresses certain things. But I mean, you guys had a wealth of knowledge based on what I heard, and I truly appreciate you guys looking out for us. And
Absolutely.
I I was like, oh my God, someone just sent this to me today, and I just jumped on. I say, I'm gonna log on and see what it's all about. You know,
Yeah.
our age,
Awesome.
we still have is like you go through a stage where when you were younger, you had that moment when you were afraid, and then you were brave, and then you were just fearless about a whole lot of stuff. You just jumped into it, and then when we get to this age, we're so careful and cautious of how we tread, and wonder if this could work. And that fear factor is really, really something, because you don't have really much time to waste on something. So to have this form, I think it's incredible.
Awesome. Yeah, and then also just to add on that, one thing we encourage as well too is that you'd be surprised how much more time you have, right? Especially when we learn as well too. When we look at, again, what's going around in silver economies around the world, like especially where most of this research already started, like in Japan, for example. Japan is known to have the most sanitarians in the
Yeah.
world. People 100 still
Yeah.
active, still working, still doing things, right? So there's a place for everybody, whether you are super intentional and want to be active, or even if you just have knowledge and experience that you want to give off to the next generation. That's the thing. And is, I think ultimately what we want to get through this project is that it focuses on those individuals in the silver economy, but this is for all
Mhm.
generations. And whether we are,
Mhm.
and hopefully, if we do a good job, if we really do a good job, we would have a better future for us today, and then the futures after us as well too. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Michelle.
somebody was asking a question. You have something in Grand Bahama, and that was something I wanted to ask too, because I said I was going to
Mhm.
share it with some family members in Exuma and Eleuthera.
Yeah.
How
Mhm.
are you extending straight across the archipelago, or?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah, we
Mhm.
definitely plan to hit a few of the family islands for sure. One of Luther is probably one of our earlier conversations in terms of working and collaborating with them because we worked with them in the
Mhm.
past. So Luther for sure. Again, we worked with UB North recently on a set of
Mhm.
a course for them based in Freeport. So we definitely plan to touch the family islands.
Yeah, but to be clear, most of the, particularly the accelerator programs will be online, right? Um, just to ensure that everyone can meet at a particular time and the effectiveness can span all of the islands, right? We can't touch all of them and do events in person for all,
Correct.
but the accelerator programs, most of the programming will be online, virtual.
Awesome. And then Michelle, you raise your hand again.
Yes, I don't have a question. I just Alana mentioned business model, and then
Mhm.
you guys immediately mentioned pitch deck. Is that the terminology that we use now rather than saying a business
Yes.
plan? We say pitch deck.
Yeah. It will be. Yeah. So business
So,
model, you hear a
yeah,
lot. Business
yeah.
model slash business model canvas, which is just a one pager of your business, just a high level view of it. A pitch deck, which is usually 10 or around 10 slides, just to communicate your idea, because again, that's important for demo day. Because what you'll
Uh-huh.
learn, our demo days are structured where each of the businesses that come out of the cohort will roughly have 5 to 7 minutes in order to pitch their idea within a panel of judges that will have like maybe 3 to 5 that will evaluate that idea in order for us to determine which was the best out of the lot. So pitch deck is an important tool with it. The canvas is an important tool of it, and then we'll also sprinkle other tools that you could take and always have with you throughout that course as well too.
Absolutely. And then one of the things that's very important with for us is the deliverables that you walk away with, you can take them anywhere with you for your business.
Sure.
So if you see a call that the SBDC is doing, the Access Accelerator, and they are looking for persons for a pitch program or whatever it is, or a business plan, sorry, you can take that exact same document and submit it to them. Okay. That is super important. And you're looking at the originators. Travis is one of the originators when it came to bringing the idea of pitching and pitch night to the Bahamas. You see, a lot of people are doing it now, are doing pitch competitions and things like that. So this is the team to show you and train you on how to create a pitch deck and how to pitch your business, not just for this program, but when you have future opportunities as well.
Awesome, awesome.
Ask about us. Google us. Hopefully we come up.
We may look young, but
the day is coming too. Soon there. Soon there. But yeah, if no other questions, we probably have one quick one. If not, then we could wrap up tonight. We are at our hour thing. But thank you for being there. Thank you for being a part of this inaugural, because I hear that word been thrown around a lot recently. Cohort information session, and then our first cohort. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for rocking with us, and we really look forward to working with you. If we don't see you in this cohort, hopefully we see you in the next one. Maybe it still might be like, you mean like, you need to sit on it a little bit or see how this goes. Or, how them Bahamians go. How Bahamians go. But we'll be around. So we're here, and this is a 3 to 4 year project for us, and we're looking forward to continue to work with you guys. So thank you all for your time. Thank you, Shauna, for the great presentation.
thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you guys soon. So the application is open. Feel free to do that, and then we'll review them in a few weeks, between the next couple of days, within the next weeks, and see what we come out of there. And we'll probably contact you shortly as well too. And then we'll share the video where you could share as well too to review. So thank you all again. We appreciate y'all, and have a great rest of the night.